The Hamilton real estate market didn't crash in January, but it did send some strong signals as Hamilton is now in a much slower, negotiable market that favors buyers. But this impact truly does depend on what you're looking to buy in Hamilton and where. So I thought in this video here, we would break down the stats for Hamilton, both based on the property type of detached homes, townhomes, and condos, but also the 10 different regions of Hamilton, showing you how the first month of 2026 has impacted the real estate market and what the numbers are indicating. Now, there's also a couple of things here that are showing different things than what I think are actually showing in the real estate market. So I'll point that out so you don't misinterpret any of the data. But let's not waste any more time and jump into this month's January market update. So if we scroll down here and we first look at the overview section for the month of January, as you can see, the sales for this month are at 309 for all of Hamilton, while the new listings is at 817. And funny enough, both the sales and new listings compared to this time last year are actually down. Now, one thing to note quickly here is the sales to new listings ratio. If we just look at these two here and actually divide these numbers, it's about 37% is what it is. Now, I'll show you in just a second why I mentioned that. But in terms of the inventory, like we expected, we're seeing the highest level of inventory we've seen in January for the last 10 years at basically 1,600. And then the median and average are down about 8 and 5% respectively compared to this time last year. Now, if we go over here, and before we get back to the sales to new listings ratio I just mentioned, let's take a look at how these compare for the last 10 years. So the number of sales is really in the middle, we'll say, kind of in the benchmark below, but at the same time, kind of on par. What we're seeing is the number of new listings is still quite high, not as high as last January, but I imagine this number will continue to rise as we get into the spring market. Then we go over here to the active number of new listings. And as you can see, this right now is the highest amount of active listings we've had in January, like I mentioned. And then over here, our sales to new listings ratio is 47.09, but this is trailing 3 months. So the reason why I mentioned it earlier being more like 37 and this one here is indicating 47 is because the lack of inventory that hit the market in December. And since this is a trailing 3-month sales to new listings ratio, December's massive dip in inventory